everyone, it's Rachel at Moonlight Library. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe. I don't usually say that because I don't remember, but I'm happy to have you. This is my February wrap up, and tape? Why is tape on me? Anywho, it's my February wrap up and I'm very excited because I did not finish that many. Well, I finished an okay amount of books. I think maybe 8 or 9. We'll find out together. I think I only own one of them. So, sorry, but we're not gonna be holding up a lot of books. It's gonna be cover over here. I'm in a young adult literature class right now for my master's in library science. So I've been reading a lot of YA books, and I don't own a lot of YA books, but guess what? I'm really enjoying it, and I'm going to read more YA books again because why haven't I been doing that? You know? I mean, I've been reading a couple each year, but I haven't really focused on that as well. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Let's get to it. I have to look up my Goodreads because I'm like, you don't remember what you read. Okay, you can do it. It looks like it's working. 500 years later, she will know what book she read, and she doesn't know right now because she doesn't remember. So, the first book I read this month, which is weird for me because this is confusing for you. I don't need to tell you anything. I'm not telling you shit. The first book I read this year was A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahereh Mafi. And wow, so good. 2002, Muslim girl, high schooler, and obviously there's a lot of tension, a lot of prejudice going on, but let's add in love. Let's add in breakdancing. It was fun. It was spectacular. I love the characters. There were certain points of the story that I was like, maybe they could have drawn back a little bit. Like, she was so pushy about the fact that she was like, I can't be with you because you're like you're like a wasp. What is the correct term for that? Just like a regular Caucasian man. I don't know. You know what I mean? And she's like, I can't be with you because people are going to start attacking you. Like, they call me names, and it's like, I wouldn't feel comfortable with them doing that. And he's like, I don't care about the backlash, even though he's like, star basketball player, dribble. And he's like, I don't care, I just want to be with you. And she's like, no, they're gonna hate you. And I was like, we could have just scrolled that back a little bit because I knew it was there, and it obviously things happen, but it was kind of just beating it into you. Obviously there's a lot of tension and prejudice, and she had experienced things. I gave it 5 stars. I really loved it. I thought it was a good message, great representation of different religions, which I don't see that often in the regular super popular young adult books. And I thought it was really cool to have representation of different religions, which was exciting. I'm not a religious person, but I love to see it, So that is the first book I read in February. And then the next one, I actually own this one. Good job, me. I Am by Maggie O'Farrell. I read Hamnet last month. This was for my book club as well, so this is our only adult style book. And this book was amazing! Oh, I cried. Okay, so I Am follows Maggie O'Farrell. It's her memoir, and it's her 17 brushes with death. So each chapter or essay, story, I don't know, follows a different experience, near-death experience she had, and they are scary, some of them. Some of them are just weird. Some of them are I don't know, more normal, but it all starts with this one where she's walking down a trail. She's probably a teenager. It's not ordered in like chronological order. So there are ones from when she's a child, but it starts with one from her teenage years. And she's no longer in school or anything. She's walking down this trail. Is she from Ireland? I think she's Irish. Why do I sometimes think she's English and sometimes think she's Irish? Well, you know, there's literally no way for me to know. Literally no way. She lives in England. I know that. Let's get back to the fucking story. She's walking down the trail. And she's walking down it. And she ends up coming in contact with this man who is like, oh, hey, who are you? You know, and starts chatting with her. And she feels kind of weird. And she's like, he puts his binoculars around her neck. And she ends up getting out of this situation. But a couple weeks later, or like a week later, they find someone else dead after she reported it. And everyone's like, doesn't seem that weird, you know, like not that weird. Well, he killed someone. Another girl hiking that same trail as her. Yeah. So it's amazing. It's a really good book. I think it's fast paced. It's like interesting. Everything's great about it. I gave it 5 stars. Next book was Fangirl, Volume 1, the manga by Rowell or Sam Haggs. That's what it says. I don't know. I'm just looking at Goodreads. And this one, I thought it would be the whole thing. I didn't really realize it was a Volume 1 through 4 situation, but this is the only one out so far. I had read Fangirl a long time ago, and I really enjoyed the fact that it's like a young adult, but in college. So it's a little more elevated, and talking about like issues with anxiety and stuff like that, which like I definitely feel that, like anxiety making friends and stuff. So I thought it was really cute. It's sweet and I love it, and it feels like home. And who doesn't kind of love Fangirl? Like, I know we have issues with Eleanor and Park, but we still love Fangirl. You know what I mean? Just can't leave it alone. Oh, so it's this girl, Kath, and her twin sister, and they're both going to college, leaving their father behind. He's single, and they're not in communication with their mother. And so her twin sister says like, hey, I don't want to, her name's Ren, I don't want to live with you at college. And Kath is like, what? You know, we write fan fiction together, we're best friends, like what? And she's like, I want to experience my own life. And we follow Kath trying to forge her own path, not by her own choice. And it's wonderful. You know, if you love radio silence, I think you'll love Fangirl. So next up, number 4. So we are counting here. We'll know by the end how many books I read. You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Jackson. By Leah Johnson. Sorry, I read so many books by people with the last name Jackson. I read multiple books with people by the last name Jackson that I think they're all Jackson now. God, why is my nose so itchy? So You Should See Me in a Crown. And this follows our main character. I already don't remember. You know, I didn't say anyone else's name this like whole time, except for Kath. I said Kath's name. I don't remember her name. Liz Lighty. How did I forget that? Her name sounds like Liz Lemon. Anyways, so we follow Liz Lighty, and she is closeted to the school, but not to her friends. But she wants to go to this school that is going to be really expensive, and she didn't get a scholarship for, and she decides she's going to try and win homecoming queen or prom queen, which is a big deal in their town, which is kind of like, you know, backwards thinking sort of town. And they're all like homecoming queens and football peoples, you know, I don't know, football peoples, players, whatever. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna win this, you know, and I'm gonna get the money, I'm gonna be able to go to school because there's so much money that you can win by winning prom queen. She ends up meeting a girl also running for prom queen, and there's this whole process you have to go through, and she doesn't, you know, it's like she can't really come out because of the way society's gonna look at her. And it's not that she's afraid to be herself, it's that she's afraid to lose the chance to follow her dreams. And there's also like family stuff going on and all that. I enjoyed the book. I just felt like it was like a little bit lacking. Like I was looking for more in it, and it didn't really like pull me in. I gave it a 3. Yes. Because I thought it was good. I just didn't love it. So the next one is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. And this one follows Pippa. She has to do her senior capstone, and she chooses to kind of investigate what happened to this girl who went missing like 5 years ago and presumed dead, and this other guy who ended up killing himself, and everyone's like, it was him, the boyfriend, it was him. And she's like, I don't think it was him. Like, I don't think so. And she ends up being like, investigation, it's me and blah blah blah, this brother of the guy who killed himself that everyone thinks the murderer, investigation. And she's a high schooler. I didn't realize it was a series. And also, this is the type of book where, oh, anyone could be the bad guy, and you're like, ooh, anyone could be the bad guy. Like, I have so many people on like this list that she keeps giving you that you're like, yeah, it could be them. It could be them. Spoiler warning real fast. No, it's not a spoiler warning. It turns out like there's so many like this one is so intricate that it has so many people it could be, and then it ends up being so many people but different ways, and it's so convoluted. I was like, it was fun, but also it lacked character in the sense of like, I felt like I didn't really care about Pippa at all. Like, she was just there, and she was the vehicle for the story, but I didn't actually care about Pippa's life, except for something that happened that I was like, that's sad. But overall, I was like, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen in the second one. Like, that really confuses me. I have to read it because I'm like, I don't know. I give it a 3. Oh, I see how many I read. Okay, number 6 is Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. And oh wow, I love this one. If you watched my reading vlog last week, then you would know that I was like, I read it in one day. This follows Enchanted, and she wants to be a singer, and there's this man who, he's 28, she's 17, and he's like, sees her at some sort of a concert thing that she performs at for like rising talent. I don't know. And he's super famous singer. He hears her and is like, oh my gosh, I have to work with her. She's amazing. And so he goes to her and is like, I have to work with you. And she's like, oh my God, it's like, you're so cool. You're the best. And he's not. Sorry. He's not the best. He is the worst. It was just like, I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? And I would get so upset too. There were a couple things that ended up happening that I was like, I questioned this a little bit, but also I think the message was really good. Firstly, if you're a teenager, be distrustful of random adults that like say they love you and stuff. No, gross. It's just gross. Secondly, it talks about a lot about like race and like how people of color in general are less likely to be listened to and taken as seriously for things like in this case, assault and stuff like that. Whereas, like, if it was white children or white children, then there'd be a big freaking issue. And that's an issue. So I thought it was a wonderful book. I gave it a 4 because of my weird issues with some things that happened that I was like, why did you put that in there? Why did you put that in there? If you want to know what those are, I'll tell you. You just have to ask. And I'll tell you what I felt. Next up, Since You've Been Gone. That's number 7 by Morgan Matson. And this one follows, I think her name's Emily. Oh yes, it's Emily. Emily's best friend Sloane has left. She's gone. And Emily gets a letter. I guess this isn't that weird, but Emily gets not weird for Sloane to do this, but Emily gets a letter. Come on. And on the letter, it's like a list of 13 dares, like, kiss someone, a stranger, hug a Jamie, ride a horse. I know you're afraid, but you should do it. And Emily is kind of one of those people who is shy. She stands in the shadow of Sloane. Sloane's big energy, you know, and Emily is not big energy. And Emily ends up kind of shining and finding her voice, making friends, making mistakes, but also making friends. It's an adventure. It's a love story. It is a friendship story. It's a coming out of your box and coming to terms with your life story. And it was fun. It was a magical ride. I gave it a 4. Why did I give it a 4? I don't know. I talk about it so highly just then. You know how you do that sometimes where you're like all of a sudden I've convinced myself that maybe it's a 5. No, it's a 4 because I got very specific and I was like, Rachel, if something's a 5, it had to have made you cry. You're going to think about it for the rest of your life. And that's what 5s are now. Okay, next one. Last one. Last one's number 8. And number 8 is 10 Blind Dates by Ashley Elston. So cute. So cute. I loved it. It was about Sophie. And Sophie has just been broken up with, kind of on accident, by her boyfriend who just wanted a trial breakup. And she's like, no. But her parents have gone out of town to her sister's house for her sister who has preeclampsia, which is kind of sad. And she's pregnant and she's bedridden because of the preeclampsia, which is pretty scary. And Sophie decides she doesn't want to go there though for Christmas. She's going to go to her grandmother's house or grandparents' house because they have a big family. Tons of people come every year. They're only like 30 minutes to an hour away. So she drives over there and her grandma's like, you're sad and I can see it. And she tells her what happens. And then it's all of a sudden like, everyone's gonna pick a blind date for Sophie. And 10 blind dates later, it's super fun. I had a great time reading this book. I had a good time with the story and the characters and the love. So much love. It's like a cute love, like one of those like, I know it's gonna happen and I want it to. So cute. Yeah, so those are my feelings. Oh, I love those sweet things. I think that next month I'm gonna read some more like fantasy and stuff in sci-fi because I kind of went hard on the contemporary this time around. I was like, contemporary everything. I'm gonna read it. Why do I keep singing? I can't help it. So thanks for showing up and thanks for coming to my house for my booktube for Moonlight Library. Please subscribe. I had a great time hanging out with you. And that is it. Bye.